Hello, peeps. I'm back. And so is the Fianchetto Bishop. So without any further ado, let's get rolling. Because there's nothing as important as rolling in chess. So if you don't know, Fianchetto Bishop is the one hiding behind the turret, that is the g3 pawn, and snipes from behind it there. So if you're new to that system and you're just trying to grasp the intricacies of this beautiful game called chess, the royal game, then I think you are in for a treat because this is one of the most exciting ways of playing. Alright, let's go g3. Again, from that turret, this bishop is going to fire away in the center. Bishop g2. And I'm actually transposing to a close Sicilian, but I have a plan. Now notice I keep this bishop open because this knight is happier. Now it'll be a transposition because my knight goes out to c3, h3, sort of anticipating pins. And one of the ways to stop pins is to play h3 and stop these ideas for good. Ace of Dharma. Now, I always have a choice of playing d4 or f4, but here I'm really going for f4 breaks and not d4, which is the circumspect way of playing in these positions. Knight e7, f4, and that's kind of the thematic way of playing. I could take with the pawn, but development is important even if it's a close position. There, bishop b3. Seemingly this is weak, but I can always play g4, and then that weakness sort of disappears. There, exactly. Now g4, I kick this knight away. There, knight f6. I could even consider e5, de, take on c5. But why not just develop and get rid of my opponent's most important piece? In fact, that's how the game is really working, and that's how it works. You try, first off, to get rid of your opponent's good pieces and retain yours. Now, this one is firing into the wall, but that won't last that long because eventually it'll open up. Let's go knight d5, press there. f6, bishop h6, exchanging off this bishop, which is sort of the heart and soul of Black's position. And again, notice that that bishop is way more passive than mine, which has a purpose in life, which is important, as we all know, while those guys are still sort of passive and not in play. Also, this could become a potential target later on. Okay, let's take. There, knight takes d4. Notice I have that e6 square on my mind, which is useful and is an important place where I could put my pieces. Let's go queen c3. Hit this, cover these squares. Whenever your opponent's aggressive, you still have to be very much mindful of potential plans they might have. So that's why I put my queen there, so I can blockade all of those ideas. There. Okay, let's hide the king. And in fact, all of these moves are more defensive than anything else. I'm just trying to make sure that there's nothing funny happening. Let's give a check. If it's not defended, I'm gonna just win it. And I think I have this intermediate move of knight e6. Or takes, knight e6. There. Knight e6, and I have queen f6 check. Notice that that's pinned. There. Queen f6, can't capture because the queen and rook is doing a good business, attacking both same time. King there, but not queen e6, and I have tripled the threat. If I would have doubled the threat, that's usually quite a bit of a trouble. But a triple threat is also quite nasty. Let's take this one. This other guy was already doing some fine job on the second. And check. And rook takes h7 is checkmate because that square is covered. So as you can see, it can be very powerful. All right. Again, we do the same thing. Now, I like the G move. You can also do B3. The whole point is you are going to go for a quick castling. C6. I'm going to build the center though. This time. There, D5. E5, knight H6. Castles. Now this is strange, but it's typical situation. White gets the center, but black gets a safe king because the bishop and pawn is right there to cover the king. H3, knight F5. Just getting a good spot for the knight. Notice that I get a good outpost once the pawn is supporting the knight there, allowing me to play knight G3. And I'll be able to capture the bishop if I'd like to. Not a given that I have to. Might play a bit with that. Might go queen b6, just showing that I will have some pressure, maybe even hinting at c5 in the future. However, I do have to mind that this d5 pawn can become a weakness. The reason I played knight g3 is that white won't be able to castle short anymore. At least not officially. And non-official castling is also a good sign. Your opponent can't do it. That's good. Also, note that I'm one move away from castling, which is important, especially when you're black, because you have less space, less time, so castling is high, or should be quite high on your list. Castles. Also notice that I might even use this e4 square for something evil, namely to get a pony over to this square via g3 to e4. Also, let's take a look at the route of the knight. And normally you don't want to waste so much time with your knight, but because of the closed nature of the position, it actually makes sense. You want to disrupt the coordination of your opponent, and also you want to make sure that you have legitimate threats. Knight a4, that knight is a little bit offsides. Okay. Question is, all right, it's time to castle. It's time to castle, as I told you. King safety is paramount. You all know it is one of the most important things in chess. Okay. Let's get the bishop out. It might even go to e4, mind you, just pressing on that knight on f3. Also, I want to connect the rooks. So, first off, you want to get some grip of the center, and I've got some. Not a whole lot. White did a better job, and that's a connect 4. On the other hand, I did manage to castle, which is a good thing. And then the second third on the list is to connect rooks. And just like in card games, it's like drawing cards. The more cards you have, the better your situation is. Not in Uno, but in any other card games, it's important to be ahead, having more options. Now, for me to have more move options, I will have to get that knight out to d7. And once I get that knight to d7, these rooks are connected and I'm ready to pounce. Knight c5. Okay, threatening there, but I think that's just a pseudo threat. I can go knight d7, and if takes, queen b6, and I will be attacking that b2 and b7 knight. And again, notice, even though white has this beautiful structure, you could even argue it's a pentagon of 5 pawns. But apart from those pawns, there are other issues, which I'm going to tell you in a second. Tries to run this way. Okay. Let's take that bishop. So what's going on here is white has no coordination. If I manage to keep white discoordinated, then my position will be still very much on the good side. Bishop e4 or f6. f6 I like. I want to undermine the c5 pawn, which is kind of the heart and soul of the position for white. Now f6 is dangerous because it kind of is in the way. Life is good. Life is good. There, bishop h6, and that's kind of one of the things you can do in chess. Assess and watch for new targets. Bishop d4, this bishop was doing a good job defending, but when it moves away, there's a new target created. So I immediately pounce on it, trying to provoke weaknesses in white's camp, that is, not black's, obviously. Notice I also have the bishop pair, although it's a close position, so it's not as important nor decisive. And you can tell and see the differences. Oh my goodness, that's a brave king. That is a brave soldier. That is a brave soldier. So I can take fe and bishop c2 check, winning the queen. And that's why you never bring up to e3. In fact, that is red. That's not what you want, because you get into all sorts of tactics that you don't want to face. It's a brave move, but it's way too brave. Takes, then I have fe, fork, and the king is just in grave danger. And that's what I was telling you. A king on f2 is not a happy king. And it really has to go to g1, castling by hands, and that's the best you can get. There, fe. King e3. Take that bishop. cd. Okay. Let's go b6, undermine the c5 pawn. We're sort of playing demolition man with white. We're trying to undermine the center of his or her, making sure that I can break through. Queen d2. Obviously, I don't want to exchange queens because all of my play is revolving around attacking the king. But the queen's off the board, that's not as likely to happen. Okay, bishop e4, pressing the knight. So most of the time, you want to either exchange off the bishop, the white squared bishop, or at least activate it. There, okay. Queen c4. You're lurking. You're being lurkalicious with that lady. Knight e5. Queen b3 check. And it's kind of nice. The structure is actually fun for black because oftentimes your queens and bishops can snake around and sneak around the whole board. Hey Saf, how are you? And also notice that my rook is doing a fine job, and thank God it's connected. There's no way of crossing. Okay. Let's take this. Take that pawn. And we're going to blow it open with that king in the middle. That shouldn't last long. Now it could, but it should not. As with an open e-file, it's more than likely, 90% of the time, it's game over. Hey, Super Chess. Doing good, doing good. We're returning to the Fianchetto Bishop topic. So we are just wondering about that d4. King is in a peculiar position. So I'm trying to use the fact that it's so awkward. Now king e2, bishop takes g2, hitting this rook. And this king is extra uncomfortable over there. Rook g1. There, let's go bishop e4. And sometimes threats are much stronger than checks. There, rook e1. Rook e8. I am pressing on e5 and sort of x-raying through that pawn. There, bishop takes d3 and rook takes e5 is near brutal. Look at that. It's almost checkmate. It's virtually checkmate. He couldn't take the bishop. Oh, that bishop? I'm going to show you in a second. So, GG's. That's very nice. And that's why you hide your king and you try your best not to get your own in the middle. So why my opponent didn't take on e4 here, this is the reason, because queen d5 is mate. King can't go back because now my d pawn already is blocking that square. You can't move on to your own pieces, and I own the f file. That pawn is also in the way. That's why you can't play king takes e4, because queen d5 is checkmate. Ah, sure thing. So by the way, what do you guys prefer? Central chess or fianchetto chess? All right. Let's bet Serkovic, e4, and e4, just because you play with e4, that doesn't mean you can't go this way. I'm going to go and play this direction. There, knight c3. There, knight takes e4. Takes, bishop takes e4. My opponent makes an obvious mistake, and that is to exchange pieces way too early. And that's something that I don't think you want to do. Alessia, thank you so much for the raid. We are just learning about good old fianchetto play. I apologize. I am still struggling to type and talk, but I'll do my best. Thank you guys. Hope you had a good stream, Alessia. Also, I didn't go as far as g4, but hey, I did fianchetto my bishop. Bishop f3. I could go and hide back in my turret on g2, but I have different plans, to put it mildly. Okay, queen d2. There. Okay, c4, just gaining space and also sort of restricting my opponent's play. Oh, thank you for the follow. Oh, my candles. Now bishop c7. Okay, I'm not sure what my opponent is trying. Maybe queen e7. Wait. Oh my god, queen b4, bishop a5 is such a sneaky idea. Such a sneaky idea. Oh golly. Let's go h4. Now it doesn't work right now, I have b4. But man. Hey J-Rod, how are you? Hey people. Hey Dada. How's it going? Do I have a favorite card game? So there's a version of there is a version of Magic the Gathering in Hungarian that I really love. But it's basically Magic the Gathering. There, okay. Expected many things, but I don't expect this one. So that's sort of one of my favorite ones. Takes. And might be bungling it a little bit. Alright, let's take. still have pressure on that pawn. That might not be that horrible. You got to play Minecraft? Alright, Super Chess Bro. Take care. I probably overextended, should have castled. Rook b8 is a bit too circumspect. I don't think that's that good. I'm going to go knight c3, over defend that pawn, control the d5 square. Notice that's one of the benefits of having a Fianchetto Bishop. You actually control important squares and defend a king. If I ever castle there. Hopefully I will. Okay. b6. Alright. So it's time to castle. I've been promising it for too long. It's time for me to hide that king. There. Okay. Let's get this rook on e1. Just eyeing the lady. And I have a little bit more space. Also, this bishop restricts the counterpart on d7, which is critical. Queen d8. Somewhat suspicious. Alright, let's bring the other rook. If you don't know what you're doing, just bring your rooks to the files. Whoa, Agadmator, thank you so much for the raid. Appreciate it. Hope you had a fun time streaming. We are learning about Fianchetto play. And, oh my god. Thank you so much again. Alright. Alright, let's go gung-ho. Charlie, thank you for the follow. Hey guys. Fianchetto time, yes. I am going in for the kill and the attack. Notice it actually helps that I brought both of my rooks in because it's very important. Oh, okay. Sorry, positional. So it's Agadmator official of man, I can't mix languages. It's Agadmator official. Okay, but you gotta pass this one time. Captures. I'll try. Am I Hungarian? Yes, I am. Knight h7, trying to hide. Okay. Now it is time to go. We do have to go aggro here. Well, let's open it up for our folks. Especially as those rooks are clamoring for more files. Magyarok, yes, bívali. Also, thank you so much for the follows. Wolf, bívali, positionerino, Agadmatorino. Oh my god, that's tough. JLo, Charlie Drummer, H3 Paj. These names are tough. Just a reminder, I do want to get those rooks over to the other side, and if that happens, mayhem might occur. Noxy, thank you for the follow. Nailed it? Yes! Made it. Becca, hello. You're just trying to figure it out. Tip. Here's the link. Queen e7, trying to hold it together. Well, it's time to slalom with that knight. Yep. It takes, f takes, not that great. Bishop e4. Bishop e4, and I'm threatening that knight. We're coming in hot. DE, that's the point. My rooks are opened up. There's pressure there. We are sneaking around. Let's take. Got that pawn. The rooks are ready to pounce. Let's see. How many pawns do I have? I think, enough too. I have 3 pawns and the king is a little bit iffy. Note, they can't capture because I have too much pressure on that bishop. Also, I have rook e4 ideas showing up. Knight takes e4. Defending and attacking. That's the best part in chess, when you can combine the two. And if you can't do that, that's what you want. Combination. Synthesization. That is a dream. Okay. Let's see. There. Let's check first. Look around. What's going on? I do have low amount of time, which doesn't make me happy. Takes b6. There. Here. There, b7. I've got plenty of pawns, and they're on the 7th, just ready to turn into a lady. Okay, here I'm going to get in the zone with the king. If I could capture that c-pawn, probably it's already very much in the winning. King e2. There I have to go because got to stop that from promoting. Takes. I have rook c8, which I should play pretty soon. Maybe rook c7 is even better. Rook c7, just cutting off. If the knight moves, I always have rook c8 and no one's gonna stop my promotion. So in fact, black is stalemated. Yep, h5. You can never move the knight because rook there. And I'm gonna push up the pawn to h7. Actually, we're gonna push this guy. There, g5. g6 here, and the pawns are a-marching. Yeah, virtually it's a stalemate. Black is stuck and is waiting for the doom to arise. Doom to arise? I'm not sure about that one. Something along those lines. I'm just gonna push those pawns up, help it out, and promote to a lady. Hey Lolly, what's up? Note knight d5, then rook c8, and then I just queen g6. h6 is coming. h6. Yep, here. I can just check there, takes, and the other guy is promoting. Queen e5, f5, g2, g3, bring the king up. You always have to be careful when you are playing these positions with low time, and the knight hopping around. Oh, take. Okay, be careful. Be careful. And checkmate. Yeah. So that's kind of the deal. You've got to always be very vigilant with those ponies because they're tricky. They're tricky bastards. When did I become a GM? I think roughly 15 years ago. Thank you. All right, let's go back and do the Fianchetto. We're still on 23rd, which ain't great, but hey, still a long tournament ahead. Oh, this guy says capture instead of take. Yeah, I don't know. Actually, I think even in Hungarian, like you would translate ut, so that's more like capture than take, really. So it's more of a gangster way of talking. G6. So I'm going fianchettoing there. I don't like that move. Oh, now that I like. Free pawns. Sign me up. Sign me up. Sign me up for a free pawn. Alright, I'll defend it. Now, one of the deals and things that I realized that you can take pawns with black, but you don't have to keep them forever. You're kind of leasing it. A6. Wanna get my bishop out to b7 and defend from the side. Sort of getting ready to build up a double fianchetto. Fianchetto, fianchetto. I never can tell. Let's go e5. I'm actually just playing a demolition man here, just so this bishop can open up. The bishop pair from hell, exactly. Zakari Volkers, thank you for the follow. Let's take. Knight b3. Alright, alright. Now I'm up a pawn. I don't think I should really bother. Like, I shouldn't mind exchanges, but I feel like putting pieces in the middle. And I think that's not a bad idea in general. This is nasty though. Might have to get rid of that, even if it has some unwanted consequences. This takes. Fianchetto, that's true, Mr. Dowd. H4 knight g5 in action. I could try. I will attempt. That's all I can say. I will attempt. And also go h5, h4. Not knight g4 just yet, but you know what I'm trying to do. Now, the other thing is, there's always a question if you want to go back to b7, defend this pawn. That could be one reason. Or bring it back to c6. And then you actually cover the a4 square. And if you can tell, this is a lot like a Ruy Lopez with an extra pawn. But it is a similar structure. So here, maybe the bishop guarding the b5 pawn makes a little bit more sense. Jesse, do you have to play chess for like 5 years old in order to become a GM? Sprint? No, not at all. F4. Well, and peasant, my friend, and peasant. Takes. Well, we love our bishops, so take my knight. Take my... Oh my god. Gifts. It's Christmas. It's Christmas. That time of the year. Rook d8. Exchange, huh? Let's exchange. No, I don't really think you have to be 5-year-old. Like, if you want to be super good, I'm gonna go rook e8. Just getting all my guys on the files. Takes. Get this guy on the open file. Now knights are sneaky. They're snakes. They're the snakes of chess. So you've got to be sure that that snake doesn't jump you. So I make sure that all the traps are set. No funny business is going on. I'm gonna kick it out. So I can get my rook in and decimate all those pawns. Decimation army. Yep. And that was too much to handle for my opponent. No horsing around. And the other thing that I wanted to mention, which is very important, is it is mostly about dedication. So if you're like 15, but you start working on your game very hard, that's when you'll get the chance to actually become a GM. H4, you guys wanted it. Guess you might have it. There, H5. Although I played H5, then I don't get that knight H3, G5. Huh. I can see the problems. H6. Sort of pushing it up the board. I don't want black to play H6. And the added benefit of this is I'm misplacing a knight, get an open file, and also tactics time. Boom. Check. And you take the bishop. And it's basically game. How did I start playing chess? So I have two brothers, and there was a secret room. I was obviously naturally curious what the heck is going on in that room. Now, they told me don't go in, so I just peeked. And I saw my brother pushing wooden pieces. So I would come up to the board and look at it. And looked at it for like 5-6 days, and then I started playing chess. And I only started playing chess when I already knew the rules. So not quite a Capablanca story, but I can sense some similarities. Yeah, just peeked. Exactly, Earth Goddess. Yep, let's go bishop h3. Let's get rid of that bishopino. What is this opening? It's a disaster. Sarfili-san, it's a disaster. You're 33 and pretty bad at chess. What's your realistic? So I would think that if you try really hard, you could get 2200 FIDE. 2200 FIDE is basically saying you're working hard on your chess. And if you work hard on your chess, you can get to 2200 FIDE. Alright, I've got the bishop pair, so change my mind. Move it away. Also have to be careful with my lady. It's also a bit on the sides. I should try to get it back into play. Also, I'm not castling, which is a shame. Queen h2. I'm probably going to use the elevator to get back into the game. What does working hard on chess mean? So, I know lots of the lines that I'm playing. Know most of them. So I know how to respond to the first main moves. E4, 1 E4, 1 D4. So if you know responses and you know what you're doing as white as well, so you know your systems, then you just have to practice a lot. And then that is the form of working on chess, so you don't lose in the opening. That's basically what I'm saying there. Yeah, exactly. Sarfil-san gets it. Studying, practicing, being consistent. Even going to copy paste it and put it in quotation marks because it was said not by me. But I agree. I completely agree. Oh my goodness. Am I playing the reincarnation of Mr. Bobby Fischer? Took my pawn. Snatched my a2 pawn. Oh god. That's mean. Oh golly. By the way, do have YouTube, so if you are interested, we do have lectures on the King's Indian. So if you want to learn a black opening, hey, it's up there for you to check it out. Alright, so it is due time to get my guys activated. Let's go Queen E2. Also, this knight is not playing, so should get it in a play or something. But first off, my queen was a bit neglected, so I'm trying to make sure that's okay. I thought most people say don't study openings if you're a beginner. It's very good if you have an idea of what you're hoping for and aiming for. Yep, let's get that knight in the game. Oh my, this guy's coming. This guy is a coming. That's not good. Knight c4. Thanks, queen takes c4. And notice that this knight is a good blockader. Rook d2, defending on the side. A bit of opening is still needed. Slurpy Slurp, what's my favorite anime? So that there's lots of ties right there, but I would really go with Psycho-Pass. I like Psycho-Pass a whole lot, but Monster and Cowboy Bebop is very close up the ranks. Alright, let's break it open. Castlevania is on the list, definitely. Although I don't know if you can argue if Castlevania is an anime, but that is, you know, if there are purists or not. I don't know. What's your guys' favorite anime? Tell me about it. Queen c5. Sort of lurking. And I really like these lurkalicious moves by the lady. It's important. Oh, okay. Can I take it? There. Or maybe it's trapped. There. Here. It would be trapped, so no. No thank you. I'm not gonna take it then. The problem is that this rook would be guarding, going back and forth, just like an FPS bot. I enjoy watching your site. This is the Chief Arbiter from the US Masters. Hey, thank you. Appreciate it. Alright, King B6. Okay. King B6 seems to be playing with fire. But okay, let's just bring the knight to a juicy square on c5. And that's, again, one of those things that you should recognize. Positional rush is also talk about the game. Chief Arbiter Lothar Schmidt in the house, exactly. Mr. Head Coach, yes. Alright, let's get that knight over to c5. Whoa, that king is on the run. Not the band, but that king. Okay. I'll capture, I'll check, and I'll take that pawn. Check here. I can take that guy. And once this bishop shows up, that'll be the end, my friend. The end. Okay. Let's take bishop f4. And very close to the GGO pattern. Thad Rogers. Nice. Okay, let's say hi to my knight. And that's actually one of those sneaky moves that I really like. And in fact, according to chess engines, the best. You don't want to start checking. Oftentimes, moves like these silent moves are the best because they have to deal with three different threats in one go. If you give a check, you give away your idea. Okay. Let's check. Let's check again. There. I'll take that, rook. Thank you. I'll taketh. Okay, knight c5, back. b4 will be on the cards. h2, okay. Let's just stop it. Like, why? Why bother? Why bother? And that's actually one of the things that I did wrong in my early part of my chess career. I always went for the most exciting moves. Sometimes you've got to be a little boring, especially when you're winning. A little bit of boredom keeps the heartache away for the time being. Now I can take the h2 pawn and I'll be happy. I almost played b4 and probably is the best move, but hey, I'm no computer to see that all. I could go for it, but that would be super risky and I would risk not winning the game. Okay, I'll take that pawn, thank you. And now it's clear who's winning. And that's kind of the difference between, let's say, these super GMs and lower ranked players. They would go for the fun, and I wouldn't. Oh, okay. There. Check. 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 Mate. So that's what you do. You first off make sure that there's no funny business going on. Now, it's a different story when you're in trouble. Obviously, in that case, you don't mind any kind of complications. All right, let's go do the fianchetto. Fianchetto? No, no, can't ever tell. There, bishop g2. All right, let's bird it. All right, f3. Castles. Yeah, I sort of expected that to happen. There, e4. b6. All right, a4. Rook a3. We're going to slalom all the way. I don't know if I need to, but why not? Why not bring in the rook to the game? Well, actually. All right, g4. f5. Now, f5 would be a great move, but the e6 square is exceedingly weak. Take. Check. There. Takes. That's annoying. Right, let's just go knight g5. I'm pinpointing that, and guess what? My rook is preparing to go to that direction. I'm Hess's brother. Yeah. It's not the first time I hear that. Um, okay. Let's take this pawn. I don't mind the exchange. I don't mind it at all. Also notice I am activating that fork. Let's take on b7. Queen e6 check. There. Unfortunately, this, well, I don't know. This is interesting to go for checkmate, but for, well, not much I can do. This is actually better, I think. There. Let's get this rook on. Well, Let's play b4, so that's covered. I'm still happy with this position. Oh, Faita, hello there. How are you doing? Your opponent is giving up on fun? Well, the hippo is fun. But it has its repercussions. Let's go rook e1. Just get ready to fight for critical squares. Knight g8. Okay. Rook e3. And this is my idea of the bishop b2. The thing is, even if they take rook e8 and very, very brutal ideas are going to show up on the 8th rank. Chess Negotiator is saying, awesome commentary. Really love your channel. Thank you. Appreciate it. Nasty, nasty discoveries. Indeed. Indeed, plenty of nastiness going on. There. Okay. If I take, that doesn't do that much. Let's take here. There, let's take that pawn on c7. Hit that knight. And I can always kick this lady out. That pin won't last forever. I really hope it doesn't. Also, that knight is in grave, grave danger. Knight d8. Okay. c3. I really just want to get rid of that lady so I can move my rook. Because once I get somehow on the 7th, it's game over. Yeah, that knight is very close to be a goner. Correct. Correcto. It is very much a goner. Probably I will even go rook e8 and have ideas of takes. Okay. I'll go queen f7. Capture this pony. And you can't really defend both of them. And then, just like the Horde in Warcraft, you're going to invade. And it's gonna be over. Yeah, I mean, once my tractors are on the 7th, it's over. Let's take on e6. my attractive tractors. But first off, I'm gonna capture all of them. Horde smash. Hey Barak, what's up? For the horde. Check. There. Let's go here. I couldn't take because King E7 capturing my guy. I don't want my guy to be captured. There. Let's take this. Takes. Thank you for bringing my knight in the game. Actually, lots of help. Knight E4. We are on a mission to activate that guy, and then it'll be over. Knight G5. This is a threat. That is a threat. So many threats. It's just too nasty. Way, way, way too nasty. There. Let's give a Schach. Then another, well, another Schach. Knight G5. That king is basically stalemated. Not quite yet, because there's still some guys on the board. Rook H7 is a nasty form of checkmating. While suggesting tips, you forgot to mention watch Chess Veep streams. I mean, why would I say that? You're already watching it. Aren't you? Are you not watching? Yes. And that would be the mate. Just showing you because it looks pretty. I mean, probably they give a gazillion checks, but I'm going to just avoid that. I'm gonna show all of those checks, and this is a nice little mate. That knight is actually a good helper. Sometimes it's very difficult to mate with those rooks if they don't get that extra little push. Where are you from? You said Schach pretty good. Well, the Hungarian language is kind of tricky. You've got many words from Turkish, I think. Turkish, German, Russian, Serbian. Maybe it's not even Russian, but Serbian. So it's kind of a mishmash of languages. And obviously, it could be also Croatian, because Croatia was part of that Austrian Empire. Vulcan. I'm a Vulcan. It is similar to Croatian, yeah. F6. We're going to go for a good old Fianchetto play, and in fact, some King's Indian that I was talking about a second ago. Bishop G5. Not a fan of Bishop G5 because it leaves this B2 pawn vulnerable. There. Okay, I'll go. Well, that would make sense. Let's go H6. I'm asking where this bishop is going. First and foremost. Bishop E3. Queen B6, bothering the B2 pawn. And that's actually one of the big deals. Whenever the C1 or C8 bishop moves, the B7 and the B2 pawn becomes weak. There. Okay. E6. H3, E6. Now notice that I already put my king into safety, so it makes a lot of sense for me to start pushing in the middle. My opponent still needs at least 1 or 2 moves to castle, so I should try my best to open it up. Might be late though for the attack. I guess I have to go game plan numero 2. Numero 2, actually. A draw A. Okay, let's drop back. A B4 would be nasty. I don't want to see that. Castles. Okay. Knight H5. Insane Lonely Bear saying, interesting, my parents are from Turkey and I'm born in Germany. Yeah, I heard many stories of people going through Germany or just settling in Germany after journeys. Positionarino Agatmatorino saying, nice stream, gonna catch a few hours afternoon sleep, and as always, have an excellent rest of your day, y'all. Captures, yep. Thank you so much for coming by. Knight f6. Now g4. Now that's an okay move. If the position's closed, if I have the pawn on e5, but I don't have the pawn on e5. So I could take, but I'm gonna go knight c7, wanna put more pressure on d5. In fact, in my dreams I could open up this diagonal and that would be perfection. Hey Diab Khan. The population is also mixed after like hundreds of years of occupation. Yep. Mix of languages, countries, yep, both. That's how it is. Takes. B6 was kind of a knee-jerk reaction. Not proud of it, honestly. BC. And this is kind of tricky. This is a mix of a King's Indian slash Benoni. It's not quite as bad as any of them. Maybe not quite as good either. Alright, let's take. I'm gonna press on that pawn. If I can. ED. Okay. Um... D7? I don't know. I was very much thinking of taking. And I kind of decided not to do it immediately. I blame myself? Not so sure. And also it's a form of battery. It's not the ideal one. Actually, it's the ideal one if it's like a mating attack, but it's not always the case. Bishop f4. Okay. Alright. Wait. Can I go for it? Let's go for it. There. Okay. In h3. Bishop g4. And I'm actually lurking a whole lot on that side of the board. There. Bishop d4. Eyeing the king. This is actually very annoying. Also, there are some problems. Got the rook here. Question is, how strong is the attack? Queen f4. Defending all those folks. Okay. Ah, it's a double attack. That's nasty. That is nasty. Bishop f5. Got to do something. Got to do something about it. Yeah, it might be a little bit off. Now, by the way, even though this doesn't look that great, there's always a practical chance in these type of positions because of the vulnerable nature of that king. Let's see. Takes. I had to take, unfortunately. There. Let's give a check. Rook b8. Yeah, now it's tough. Now it's tough. But never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Or at least I should fight a little bit. What's the plan here? Fight. Because unfortunately this sacrifice didn't pan out. Exactly. Pan out, pan Peter. I don't know. I can see the connections there. Fortunately. Okay. G6. Knight F3. Drop back. Knight B5. Let's take it. Take it. Yep. Rook E4. Trying to conjure up counterplay. It's obviously not the happiest. Rook B7. Okay. Let's go here. Yeah, it's obviously dead lost at the moment. Why am I talking so slowly? Pretty low on time, that's true. Yep, let's take. Go for F4. Takes. Alright. G6. I didn't want to run into bishop e5 ideas. That would be nasty. That would be nasty. Takes here. That would be nasties. That would be not good. Not good, not good. Yeah, I have threats on both of them, I guess. Which is kind of surprisingly tough to meet. Check. Take that knight. Thank you. Thank you. I'll take that knight. I'll take it. I'll take it. King G8. Hmm. It's kind of tricky. Kind of tricky. Tricky, tricky, tricky. Should b5. Looks like a problem. We're gonna walk all the way to the other side. That's what I will do. Unless I'll take. Takes. Oh no! Huh, exactly what I wanted. Not exactly what I wanted. Oh god, I have no time. Alright. Have no time there. Yeah, I actually might have turned it around. No increments, no increments. Now, modern chess, you have a knack of thinking that chess is without hope. Now, I was thinking the same way too, but reality is it's different. In reality, there's always practical chances. The computer might say plus 55, and you're lost, and you can't do anything. It's hopeless. No, that's not how chess works. In chess, you get chances. And in fact, sometimes the computer is wrong. I know, sometimes you're told that the computer is the all seeing eye and there is no ands, buts about it. But in fact, there is. They don't know all and everything. And in fact, they often make mistakes, especially in close positions. So even though you see plus 50 million, it's not always the case. In fact, black has good counterplay. So when I sacrifice and get some attack going, it is not necessarily a given that I'm worse. By the way, I am going for the double fianchetto and undermining that e5 pawn. So really the moral of the story is I might be worse, I might be objectively suffering, but it does not necessarily mean that I will have to lose the game. You can fight, and fighting is part of this game. Just have Nakamura for example. Oh, Marin chess. I've no columns. You don't have to um, you know, I'm very much curious if you can accept that point of view, what I'm giving. Namely, that I think chess is a bit more layered than, hey, this position's already lost. Sometimes it is, but not always and not necessarily. There, I could do that. Hmm. All right. Go d4 and go knight g3. Yeah, I mean, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Sarfisran. True, in theory it's one, but in practical terms it might be difficult to handle. Exactly. There, knight g3. I'm covering that e4 square. So the fight is mostly revolving around these critical squares, maybe on f5, although I barely have enough people around there. Well, I'd wish I have more. There, I'll take. Yeah, not not doing well this game as well. Queen f3. there. Let's go h4. Just start pushing with my guys. f6. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, h5. I want to get rid of that bishop. There. Huh. Okay, h6. I'm creating a weakness and want to sort of gang upon the f pawn. Do I know how to solve the Rubik's Cube? No, I'm no big master of the Rubik's Cube. I mean, I haven't really actually been doing it or trying it at all. Knight f4. Can I take? I can because I have knight e4 blockading. That's not a big deal. Bishop g6 back. Okay. Hmm. Knight e4. I think I misplayed it. Might have been better here. Of course. I'm not so sure about that. I mean, I've seen a Rubik's Cube, but I don't think I have tried it. Let's go rook h1. What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? Yeah, of course. That was just a crude mistake. That was just a crude mistake over there. Yeah, it's just... No, just on the tilt machine, onto the tilt machine. Yeah, no, it's just bad. 38 seconds. Well, I don't know. I heard that it had to do with, you know, people actually pawned. Thank you for the follow. That had to do with something else. So it had to do that they dismantled a Rubik's Cube and then they used that knowledge. Let's go G1. D3. Yeah, we're hoping now, but it's not much to hope for. This is pretty much dead. Yeah, just played terrible stuff over here. What's tilt machine? Tilt machine. Well, being tilted. That's what it is. And that tilt machine stops you from tilting. But hey, this is just looking bad. Just looking bad. E1. What? No. Lol. You got modded. That was your due punishment. I got a better punishment. There, okay. Let's take g5. Yeah, this is very much gloomy. But hey, bad games happen. Bad games do happen. Nah, I mean, still fighting, of course, but it just doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. G5, so this is a threat. So if I could activate this rook somehow, that's the moment when things would go my way. My way on the highway. Okay. F here. Check. There. F7, Queen E5 hides. F8, let's take this. Man, man. Takes. Things ain't working out. It ain't working. It ain't working. H6. There. 8. Yep. Alright. Yeah, that was just too bad. That was just too bad. Yeah, I mean, fighting back does matter a lot. Hello, Fianchetto. You are in the right stream. Alright, I'll try to redeem myself by the end of this tournament because some redemption is needed. Some redemption is needed. Okay. G6. Bishop G7. Attacking. Alright, knight C6. We're gonna go super aggro. Going aggro on that D4 pawn. There. E5. Knight D4. Now, this is usually dangerous, but here it's very good because it is supported by my pawn. C5. And if takes, I can take with DC, and my queen is right there supporting that knight. Bishop D3. Let's take that pony. Why not? How about you don't castle? Maybe that was something helping my opponent, not actually hindering. Okay, anyways. In F6. Gonna get my knight to E7. Just being very aggressive. Queen F6 is not necessarily the best way of playing. In the worst, though. Knight E7. I'm gonna go short. Just like Mr. Kasparov said, gonna go short. It's gonna be short. There, don't castle. Don't want that to happen. That would be annoying. There, let's take this pawn. What am I doing? I'm blundering everything there. Oh my goodness. This was just a bad move. Because I take bishop g5 and I'm in trouble. That was terrible. That was a terrible move. Yep. There. Go bishop d7. I'm lucky because I've got the bishops and it's still not that simple. But that's not a great mistake. Not a great one. Yep, we don't do sub battles just yet, hysterics. But don't worry about the pawns. Pawns is not the main issue. I don't think. I think it's more about the king's safety. Was a good move. Queen a6 was very nice. There. Okay. Before I'm pinning it. Also attacking that pawn. It ain't that bad. I thought it's way worse. But it ain't as bad as I thought it is. And I guess because of the bishop there, I have some sort of counterplay. Not that it's necessarily the end of it, but still. Are those sirens? Yes, it is sirens. Yes. Those are sirens. Okay, so I mean, in the long run, I do want a castle, obviously. But first off, I will see where that king goes and what that king is about to do. The reason I played queen b4 and not rook b8, so there's no knight d5. Queen a3. Okay, wanting to exchange. I really don't have a choice because knight d5 would come and I don't want that. So I'm gonna activate this bishop. Now notice that white has two doubled pawns, and doubled pawns usually means it is worth a pawn. Not two, but one. In fact, I'm not even sure if I'm worse anymore. Alright, I'll take on a3. Here, bishop b2, and I'm actually winning now, because you're either losing the knight or the rook. There, I'll take that rook, thank you. Check, king e7. There. Okay, bishop e6. And we're gonna swarm on in. This looks good. This looks good for me. Right, rook d2. Hopefully I can squeeze in one more game. There, bishop d4, eyeing the f2 pawn. Sort of a difficult position for white. X. c6, rook here, eyeing that bishop, a4, a6, going down. Bishop d3. Here. Here. And rook d1 is going to be mate. Fighting. What white is doing is fighting, which is always reasonable. All right. I don't think I will manage. Maybe. No, I don't think I'm going to make 4, but at least I want to make a last push in the game. So I can try to win that one. All right. Let's go. Let's go d4 and g3. Combine these two. Oh god, it's so boring. All right, this time I'll do an exception. I am going to go for aggro play in this d5. Okay, now your bishop is dead. g4. Fianchetto this way. There, knight h3, knight f4. You're actually coming closer to that e6 pawn. That's not a Fianchetto Bishop bias. That's the only problem with that. Okay, bishop d3. My bishop is right on mark immediately. I intended to go here, but it wouldn't do much. I switched to d3. In fact, that's kind of the main point of chess. You've got to be flexible. Once a fun King of the Hill game, I actually liked it. Okay, let's go knight f4. Press. Also slalom that knight up the board. e6. Now I have knight f6 check. There. Let's start rolling. Rolling. Bishop e7. Uh-huh. Okay, h5. Takes. I'll take. There. Bishop g5. The point is, if takes, I have bishop f5, and then this queen is defended. That is the main idea. Nice. I missed that. I can go bishop e4. There's not. Oh, you exchange queens. That's so nasty. Oh. Takes. There. Bishop f4. I still have to get this knight out. Here. That's also a possibility, or go the different direction. There, knight d2. Hey, Gambit. You showed up at the Gambit moment. That is good timing, sir. That is good timing. Give a check. There. Okay, bishop b3. Knight c4. We're trying to encircle that king. Always at the tactics time. Alright, there. Not shocked. Check here, check here. Alright, let's just take stuff. Nothing like taking stuff. Check. There. On castles. What? Knight d6, king b4. Check. King a5. What? Check here, here. c5. Knight e4 doesn't do anything. Check. a5. All right, go for it. There. Check. King c5. Hmm. All right, let's take. Um, it's not mate. It's not mate, unfortunately. I just take the rook. I just take the rook. All right. Yep, I tried. I couldn't go that far. Yep. Yep, I do want to take a look at the end if there was a mate. But where's the end result? Where is the end result? Congrats to Vino Chess, Julian and Tatankano. Congratulations. Right, let's see. Oh, it's not this one. It's not this one, but the previous one. I wonder if there was mate. Okay, there. We don't care about this one. There it takes here, here, here. Okay, so my main issue is that the king always escapes. By the way, you guys, GG's. Are you guys interested in challenges? In fact, I'm going to create a poll. Right, so the question I have for myself is, how can I checkmate? Oftentimes, if there's no e6 pawn, I can even mate with bishop f4. So check, king b4. My main problem is that the king slaloms through c5, b6, and c7. Check, king c5, then king b6, and I don't see mate. Now, the mate that I was hoping for to see is something like this. Now, if king a5, then rook a5 is checkmate. But if king c7, if there's no e6 pawn, then bishop f4 checkmates. So that was the mate that I've seen right there. Was there nothing with a3? That's what I'm kind of wondering. Oh, a3, but a3, then the king walks up to a6 and the king will hide. And if rook h5, then e5. Maybe rook h5. Maybe rook h5 is the move. Oh man, that's beautiful. Oh, this is gorgeous. So it's white to move and win. This is very pretty. So e5, knight takes e5, king b5. This is very pretty. Try to find it. This is very, very pretty. Yeah, it's funny that these little silent moves make the day. So let me check on this. Thank you for the cheers. Thank you, you're the best. Rockbox, Leo, Yusuf, Sprachi, PV, Phantom Bowie, Momo, Arctic Wasabi, Oyster Brain, Mictor, Mr. Thank you for the follow. Mishra, Mr. Dowdji Benny, Zachary Walker's Crow Tweet, Cogito Chess, Nair Roy Harrison. Thank you so much. And by the way, if you want to know about us and whenever we go live, do check us out on Discord because we talk anime and chess over there. Knight c4, but what if I take and what if I don't take? What if I take? Yep, rook d4 is checkmate. So knight c4 is very nice. King takes c4, rook d4. Is there anything else that black can do? What can black do other than king takes c4? I know this is work, but chess can be problem solving oftentimes. Can't run to a6 because rook a5 checkmate. But what if king b4? You're greedy. Well, if you're greedy, spam the greedy mode. Always spam the greedy mode. a3. Okay. a3, b3. And if we want pawn mate specifically, how do we do it? By the way, you can already send challenges. Bishop d2, I take b3. Very good, but takes b3, I go here, and c3, I can go down. It's not good. It's trickier than it might look at first sight. Actually, I'm wrong. I'm wrong myself. I thought that I could go c3 and mate, but in fact you have to go here, takes king c2, and then you will have b3 checkmate. c5, and if you are living by the rules of mating with a pawn, you've got to play a4 and then b3. No, I didn't forget that he could take the knight, obviously, that's one of the key lines. This is the play, and b3 is unstoppable. All right, let's see those challenges. 8 times 8, good luck. All right, so I'm gonna go e4. c3. Knight e2. I'm gonna go again, good old Fianchetto ways. Bishop g2. h5, h3. Now you don't have to be scared of this. You can always go h3 and just look around. h4, g4. And this is actually a decent structure. Okay, f4. That's just one check. I can always sidestep. Knight g8. Okay, king h1. Just anticipating this trickery to be around. Go b3, bishop b2. Getting my bishop around and getting it into the game. there. Okay. E5, knight e4. Creating a good old spot for my knight. Knight d5. Queen e1. And from an attacker, it becomes a weakness. The double fianchetto. The doubleino. What about that pawn? I take that pawn. Looks tasty. But no, let's not be that greedy, maybe. Let's go g5. I want to capture that pawn. h4. You always ask your inner Yasser? That's good. Always treat your inner Yasser well. Inner Yasser deserves to be treated well. And that's the problem. You really want to be mindful of those pieces, because those can be very, very ugly. Knight takes e5, trying to avoid doom. Can you avoid doom? Oh, you can't avoid doom. Doom is always there. Hoping that this is enough. But what about a mating attack? Knight f6 takes, and I have the queen near to shachmati. Takes. I can go bishop b2 first, and that makes sense because then I connect all my folks. Yep, let's do that. Note that f5 ain't possible because there's mate on h8. And that's actually the big difference between the two positions. I've got all of my forces out already, ready to pounce. Okay. Rook f6. e5. Oh, that wouldn't be great. Let's bring this pony into the attack. I don't want to exchange queens. I am strictly going for checkmate. There, okay. Let's see. G6 here takes check, but that's pointless. Queen h8 check, knight g6 check. Yep, knight g6 check, and queen g7 is checkmate. This can happen if those pieces are stuck in the back rank. And by the way, there is a very, very, very nice idea. Now, queen b6 is a move that I don't like. I used to play something like that. You usually have to develop quickly. h5 I have no problems with. It's a normal move. But queen b6 is not only stopping you from getting your bishop out, but also isn't doing much if I don't play for d4. So queen b6, instead I would go queen c7, d6, bishop e7, sort of in Taimanov style. Here, already I had big threats, such as knight f6 ideas. So if takes, I have this, takes, and this is a lot like the king's Indian attack, and you go queen g5, queen g7, it's mate. GG's, Fianchetto. There, knight e5, takes, same idea, takes, here, takes. And if knight takes c2, There's a beautiful solution here. Can anybody spot the win for white? So anything between 3 minutes to 5, 3 to 5, anything goes. Yep, queen h8. King takes. Rook h6 double check. And rook h8 is checkmate. Because the king can't run to f7. That was that dirty, dirty little idea I had in mind. That good old queen h8. Quite happy about it. Anyways, who's next? Growing tree. By the way, I do want to add that we do have a special day on Saturday where I always explain for subs what's going on. Obviously, we have challenges for subs those days and game analysis. So if you want to be part of it, feel free to join Discord. Also sub if you want your game to be analyzed. That's what we do. So I'm going to compare and still go with this line, g3, go bishop g2, bishop g2. Not only I'm providing shelter, I also put some pressure on that d5 square. You love it when I actually get these mating patterns on the board? Well, you try. I mean, that's the beauty of the game. You want to see what's going on. Castles. d6, and now I'm going to play d4. 6. In c7. All right, let's build a center, creating this classical Maroczy bind. Knight c3. Do you guys know why it was named after Maroczy? Very curious if you guys know. Ooh, double Fianchetto. Incoming. And it can be quite problematic because these bishops can be super strong. I've learned more from you in 5 minutes than my chess coach in 4 weeks. It's funny. Appreciate the kind words though. I don't know if it's true. Pretty sure that your coach is a good one, or at least I hope so. Rook e8. And one of the typical ideas of this whole system is this knight d5 move. One of my early coaches told me that I've seen you play this knight d5 sacrifice so many times and you won so many games with this when I was just starting out. I was very proud of it. It's also very visual. Knight d5, you capture, and because of that pressure, I am breaking through. Now, this is again an interesting dilemma. I could take this bishop or this one. With knight b6 though, my opponent will be disorganized. That kind of tickles my fancy. Takes, bishop a3, press there. Probably this is best. Well, maybe, I don't know. I can't decide. The other one is more positional, more pressure. This one is saying that in the long term, you're going to have some weaknesses. There. As soon as you saw d4, you knew the bind was coming? Right. 97. Alright, g4, g5, and asking, and trying to get rid of all those guys from that file. Okay. Queen h5, just getting ready for all that mayhem. Knight d5 is thematic, but it's also thematic in Marozzi. Knight g6, f4. We are barging in. Notice that that lady is far away from defending this guy. And if I manage to open it up for my rooks, I mean, not plural, but it'll be plural after rook c2, rook f2, then I'll be happy and looking forward for this game. And my threats. e5. Okay. Even considering f5s occasionally. Or just take knight f5, knight f5. Let's go knight f5. Takes. Probably taking is not that great because now I'll have the bishop pair. Obviously, I'm going to sacrifice. That was a given. There. One of the important things is that this queen shouldn't come back in due time to defend. Bishop d5 and then g6. Yep, that looks deadly. Because it can't really be captured anymore. It can only be captured once, and then my queen infiltrates. Not to talk about the fact that gf is coming. There, king g2. Just making sure that the queen can't really enter. Can you Marozzi against the other Sicilians? Yes, listen here. Definitely you can. There, g6. You definitely can. Knight f6. I think it is time to eliminate that guy. Over there. There, takes on h7. Rook e1 is deadly. Because after fg, there's queen g8, and the king has no ways to pass through to the other side. There's no magic portal here. Rook e1. And also, I'm making sure the queen can't really enter. In a moment, g7, queen h8 is a double threat and a mate. Doesn't it pop up in the English a lot? Yes, a gambit. That's a fact. It does pop up there as well. Okay. Let's take a look. Oh, I won! Okay, I didn't even realize. Oh my, what am I? I'm dazing. Growing Tree, thank you so much for the game. Appreciate it. Appreciate it so much. Yeah, this attack was quite nasty. That's why you want your queen close more on c7 than anything else. Just imagine having a queen on c7 and then your pawn would be already defended. And that's a big deal. Chess is a tragedy of a tempo. And then the attack was just too fast. g6, and that was checkmate. F takes. I have queen g8, checkmate. Right. Je me déruft. Je me déruft. I don't know. I might be saying something German, very French-like. And talking about French-like, any French people in the chat? Do want to know where you guys are from. Hey, Headshot Rama. G6. Gonna develop my folk. G7. Now, by the way, just because you play the Fianchetto doesn't mean it's the end of the world. It ain't. However, it does give you a very stable position. Okay, let's go Bishop D7. Ooh. Always look on the bright side of life, but don't give me free stuff, because I'll take it. I'll take it. Knight F4. Once we've got the loot, we return back home, and now I think we're going to cash out. Like you're in a casino. You play the roulette. By any accident, you don't know, you just happenstance, poof, you're there. And then you realize, hey, I want some dough. And you go ahead and say, all right, cash out. C takes. Now, I've been playing Valorant, and my opponent thought that hey, play D4. Just walked right into smoke. And, well, I was sniping from G7. Just sniping from G7. Checks. It's also a double check, by the way. Bishop takes D4. And my bishop strikes again. And that's actually the good part of the bishop. The recoil time for that guy is fascinatingly good. Bishop G7. Again, with this thing, he thought that you wouldn't win his queen. But I thought what he thought that he would be wrong. Did I do the math right? I think I was close. I was close with that math. Yeah, and long range pieces. In fact, I played a long range move against Sam Shanklin, and he was like looking, what happened? What happened? I played something like, I think like Queen B3 to Queen H3, and he was like, whoa, what happened? And actually, it did have its profound effect. The game later ended up in a draw. He's Flemish? It's interesting because I instinctively started talking French. Well, French and Flemish is very close. Flemish is Belgian, right? Where are you guys from? As I already told you guys, I am from Hungary. Although I do have Croatian relatives, far relatives, so none of them speak Croatian, but originally my family ancestry consisted of Croatian ethnics living in Hungary. As I'm not doing a good model here, I should castle my king. Normally you want to castle short, but I'm up ahead with so many material, I might just castle long. Flemish is a variant of Dutch, yeah. Dutch? Isn't it also a variant of Belgian? Okay, H5, let's go. Open it up for my people. My people! We're going in. We're going in. For the attack. Okay, knight A5. Well, I'm not saying I'm greedy, but I'm not saying I'm not. So I'm going to defend that pawn. Belgium is a weird country, says A Gambit. 3 official national languages, there's only one common language. It's running into the firepower of that guy. Let's give a friendly check. I mean, as friendly as a check can be. And you know, rooks, like you crave snacks, crave open files. So I'm gonna give it to that poor lad on h8. Activated, exactly. Rooks, activate. Oh no, I've got checked. By the way, this is one of those fears and phobias of upcoming new players. You fear of being checked. Checks by themselves are not that dangerous. Okay. Let's corner that king. I'm gonna sacrifice it. I didn't have to necessarily, but I want to make sure that after the transaction, I have bishop d4 and there's mate on g1. So takes bishop d4, queen g1, mate. And actually, if this king would be castled, I would have rook h8 checkmate. So you can see the benefits of castling. That is one of those things that you've got to keep in mind. There, g1, GG's, GG's, Chemin de Ruft. So one thing I do want to mention, whenever your opponent rears its head and puts a Fianchetto Bishop out, always double check if you can play b3. Now, there's a difference. So, if I'd say knight c3 and there's a knight out on f6, you can go ahead play b3 because the bishop can jump through. And I mean, for some of you that is common knowledge, but one of the ways to know that there's no danger out when there's a knight still lingering on f6. Talking about that, there's only one exception here, and that one exception is when the knight is ready to give a check. Now actually there's just two things that you look out for: threats of your opponents and checks. And if you look out for those two, you won't run into these tricks. What is anti-tilt? Stops me from tilting, or you, that matter. A Gambit says we're a country of 11. I guess you're talking about Belgium, with 6 separate governments. But if I remember correctly, Germany united some time ago, but in the 1900s, it was still sort of like mini countries, like separate governments and something like that. All right, let's go c6. Am I wrong? No, I think I'm right. Because just about the time of Bismarck, they united as a country. Go queen b6, bother that b2 pawn. And again, some things like f3, here it kind of makes sense because chased away the knight. However, my queen will be very annoying in the future. So that queen is doing some fine job so far because this bishop has already moved. I'm wondering if I can go e5 and knight h5. And I think I can e5. And that's actually why this is oftentimes not that great, because it runs into these sorts of tricks. I missed this move, which I shouldn't have. In any case, I think I'm fine. I get this Philidor type of position. Now the bishop is defended. Got to drop back or drop back. This is actually very stable. Not many counter chances, not many tricks over here. I mean, not the 1900s, I mean 1890s. That's when Bismarck was around. A6, might want to expand, and surprisingly enough, this might turn into a Neudorf with a funky little move that is Rook B1. Bishop C4. Okay. Let's develop. Castling is always high up on the list. Let's castle. There. Okay. Could go C5. But I'm kind of, wait, C takes, then there's knight D5. That's not a good deal. But B5 is fine. I'm trying to undermine the center that way. Yep, takes, I'll take. Bishop takes. Ooh, I'm being a bit slowish, which is not good. Need to speed up because that ain't gonna be good. Bishop G5. Yup. Yup. Bishop E6, the typical way of guarding the D5 square, very much in the spirit of Neudorf. Now, I've played against the Neudorf a billion times. The Neudorf is a very much sound system. Bishop F6, and here I have this very nice intermediate move, check, and I have actually two attackers at this time. Queen E3. That surprises me. Shouldn't have, but somehow it still does. There. Let's go rook here. Defend it. Now I've made sure that there's no knight d7 check, no knight b6 forks. And I'm still retaining the idea of taking on d5. Madensky, thank you for the follow. And I'm still retaining the pressure. And that's the other one, and probably the biggest point I want to make in chess. Keep the tension. Takes GF, and this would be a problem, but in this specific case, it's not an issue. It's very hard to get close to my pawns. There, okay. I could go D5, but I don't want to. Maybe I should have. I definitely should have. I'm going to go for active play though. Takes, I have to take. And I'm just gonna walk this king up to e7 and that pawn will be defended. I don't think I'm worse anymore. These pawns look weak, but that's just a visual thing. There, rook b6. Back. Created some weaknesses and some tension. Rook there. Okay, h5. h4, rook b6, defended. There's no funny business on that side. Now this is actually a typical structure for two openings. One of them is the Neudorf. The other one is Botvinnik's favorite. Can anybody tell me what was Botvinnik's favorite? c6. And I'm trying to put as much pressure on my opponent's position as physically possible. There, takes. It doesn't do a whole lot. Okay. Right, I thought I could deal with that? I guess I can't. There, check. There, let's take here. B2. And his king is surprisingly iffy. And even though I'm down a pawn, I do have compensation. If I go up, probably there's also a check, so I don't want to do that. I want to avoid that. Pressure there, there. Botvinnik? Not quite, not the Botvinnik. There, rook c2. And the king is in some danger. Some danger right there. Okay, check. There. Alright. There, check takes there. Here. Check. Here, check. Takes. There, takes. And the thing is, these pawns are now a little bit lonely. Little lonely. Rook d2, I check. But I can go here, and I'm going to start gobbling some pawns. There, rook f4. There, f5. Okay, I did miss that. Shouldn't have. Okay, g4. So then keep that out. Also keep that rook passive. G6. Let's start going forward. f6. There, king f5. Rook f4. And now this is ideal. The king is cut off. King g3. And that is a problem, because I'll take and then start pushing the pawn. Could also go king g2. That's probably cleaner. There. I don't think I want to be in front of the pawn. There. Let's take. There, rook g4. If takes, I just run. And going to carry these guys like a backpack. And the king is cut off. Check. There, h3. Rook f3 is coming. And the pawn is running down the board. Okay, tricky. Rook f2. I'll exchange, obviously. There. Rook f3 takes, and that's promoting. h2. King is caught. King g2. There. Rook f2, and I'm just promoting. Well fought, sir. Well fought. Very close game. Going in order, Trikyar. So the Botvinnik really liked, so it's the Botvinnik variation that you guys were talking about. What I'm talking about is this one. The Richter Rouser. So this structure that you've seen, this structure is the Richter Rouser structure, especially that double pawns. That's very close to that one. It does have a name. I mean, it's not a name, it's the name of the opening. All right. Good luck, Hisham Solia. By the way, where are you guys watching from? Been trying to ask this question quite a while before, but I'm curious again. Can you tell me where you're from? Belarus, Portugal. E4, let's go C5. Italy, still from UK, didn't move. Shocking. There can only be chaos? Yep, chaos does happen. It's C6. I'm controlling that square. That's the most important one. And this is the way you should play. You want to castle. Also, this bishop is usually terrible, so I'm going to go bishop g4, pin it. And if I must, I might even exchange it off. Here I might even just go queen d7, stopping this h3 move. Florida, Mississippi, Mumbai. Okay. By the way, h5 is a stronger move in these scenarios when your opponent can't play h3. And the moments when your opponent can't play h3 is this one. When your queen and bishop is already aligned and form a strong alliance. h4. Note there's no knight h4 because the queen is in danger. And if g takes h4 happens, you're celebrating because that's a terrible, terrible thing to do to your position. Knight c4. Okay. So e5 could show up. So I'm going to play e5 myself. Just making sure that is not on the cards. Tehran. Reza Kazım. And I'm kind of enjoying my time. I pinned the queen. I'm on the attack. By the way, the reason you never would want to take on h4 is 1, you'd get a doubled pawn. 2, it's an easy target for my rook. And that's actually the fight what's revolving around in this position. You are trying to make sure as white that this rook doesn't infiltrate. If it infiltrates, it's game over. It's that simple. If it ever gets in there, it's just done for. So conversely, h3 is not a great idea. It can be played, but I don't think it helps my attack. Queen c2, sidestepping some stuff. So I'm gonna take bishop h3. I'm hoping to exchange because if my queen gets in, that's wonderful. Oh, I wanted this guy's not defensive. Got to castle. Forgot that this pawn is weak. I've got to tend for that. Now, usually long castle is not great, but in this case, when you're already on the attack, it's not such a bad idea. There, bishop g4. Thank you for the follow, Chia Seed. Bishop g2. Okay. It is time to go doubleino on the h-file. Now, if I could triplino, that would be the absolute dream. I don't think I can. There. Second double. Doesn't quite work. I'm gonna take because I want to have that d4 square. That's a trick, so I always play king b8. Whenever there's a Sicilian, king b8 is always an interesting and a good idea. Takes there. Takes, king takes there. It's just not working. Takes here. Takes, and it's mate. Unfortunate. Takes there. 4. Yep. That just by the skin of its teeth, it doesn't work. Which is sad. Because it would have been very, very pretty. There, bishop f4. There. Okay, let's hide the king. a5, let's double. Let's double it up. Let's double it up. Yep, and these rooks are actually very much ready to pounce. Okay, takes, b8. Let's sidestep to. Oh my god, what am I doing? Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! GG's. I completely blanked out this bishop d6 move. Well done. Well done. I probably was a bit too hesitant this game. Should have been way more aggressive. Yeah, I mean, you can go e6, knight f6, but yeah, this is a problem. Yeah, there was a line that I was calculating. Unfortunately, I don't think it works. This one takes here, takes here, here, and this is mate. The problem, rook b7, is in time. And actually, it isn't. Oh no. Or is it? Here, takes here, here, and I mate. Okay, so actually that worked. This was the plan. This was my plan. This was the plan, and this is what I should have done. But I panicked with rook takes b7. Yeah, it says bishop f3 is winning. Yeah, it was winning. I mean, my opponent played well. But indeed, this would have been very nice. That mate is unstoppable. Anyways, a crazy game. GG's. All right. Average Joe, good luck. e5, knight f3. And I'm gonna go this way. This is a rare way of playing, but it is possible. I think this is called the Glac Variation. b6. That b6 ain't that good. Not terrible, but not great. Probably d4 is actually helping that concept. I shouldn't have gone this direction exactly. There, queen takes d4. There, queen d3. There, let's castle. And in fact, now it's useful. So I should have kept it closed. There, okay. Let's go bishop g5. Pinning it. Pinning is always a good thing, especially because e5 is a dastardly little trick that often works. It's a dastardly little trick that wins a piece. Oh, I could take there. All right. 10 plus 5. No, we're playing 5 at max. So, nope. Good luck. Hello? Is anybody in there? Not if you could hear me. You're trying the Stafford Gambit as a low-ranked player. Thoughts, anyone? I have a thought. It is decent. It's definitely playable. Definitely playable. Is 5-0 is not too long. Oh, okay, I missed you. All right. Sorry. Okay. 5 is good. 5 is good. E5. Let's do this again. G3. And the good thing about playing this way that you get a very solid position. Now bishop g4. If I castle, then there's this queen d7 that I just did. So one of the things that grandmasters do is they ask around what to do and deal with h3. Because black has a choice. Either she's going to take on f3 or retain the pressure. But then again, that bishop can't ever go back. Knight h4. Not only defending that pawn, but hitting on that bishop. There, queen e2. Bishop e7. Okay, let's go d3. This bishop is so awkwardly placed that actually secures some sort of an advantage for white. Also, if push comes to shove, I can exchange it off. Which can lead to a pleasant position with the two bishops. There, let's castle. Oftentimes you don't have to rush, you just get your guys out, and that is a good start. Knight d2, drawing those pieces out, trying to connect those rooks. I don't have to rush it, and that pawn is well defended. Note, your opponent has to have more attackers than defenders, and at the moment, I'm doing just fine in that respect. Okay. Knight f5, getting it to a nicer square, also kind of provoking my opponent to take, and in that case this bishop will become much mightier than it was before. Also have some threats on e7 in the future. I do get the center. However, these pawns can be a little bit weak, mostly d3, because it doesn't have a pawn protecting it anymore. There, let's go knight b3, hitting this bishop. I could put the bishop on b2, but it would hit into my own pawn. Usually you want your bishop somewhere where it is just not blocked. b6. Okay. Well, I'm going to take that bishop there and going to go for a pin. Because we always go for the pin to win. Pin it to win it, that is. h6. And I can do the same thing, go bishop h4 and retain it. Now normally this runs the risk of trapping your bishop with a pawn on g3. So always be wary of ideas of g5. However, in this specific case, this bishop is in the way, so that's not going to happen. f4, opening it up for the rook. And this is kind of the best formation. If you've watched my streams before, you would recall that this oftentimes happens. f4, knight h6 check. Now I have bishop f6, winning the pawn and also gaining some traction on the king side. King is almost boxed in as it cannot really escape via f8 and e7. Queen d6. Yep, now I do have to find a way to inch closer. One of the ways to inch closer is to defend your guys. I'm going to do right that. There, rook e6. Okay. Queen f2, eyeing that pawn, defending the bishop. Now I could even start expanding in the middle. Now I couldn't take because my rook is vulnerable. But now d5 and e5 is a coming. d5 is a fork. e5 would be strong not because of a threat, but because it would cement this bishop on f6. And whenever you get those cemented bishops in the turn of your opponent's position, that's the moment you know things are going great. Knight e7. Do I want to exchange stuff? Do I want to exchange this guy for my bishop? Not really. That's not really part of my plan. Gonna go e5 for that reason, bolstering that. And then I see some mating ideas over there. And I hope to live that dream. If I can, if I could live that dream, that would be marvelous. Queen d7. There. All right, push it. I'm taking away this juicy square from my opponent from d5. So sometimes some of your moves are not for your benefit, but for the detriment of your opponent. d5 is more of like a detriment. I'm trying to just take away stuff from my opponent right there. Rook d4, so my rook is defended. And once I cut the 6th, my attack will be much more smoother. There, I can take, because I have a double attack on the queen, cd. There, yep. I can just take, and it is game over, because queen h8 is mate, but even this is mate as well. GG's. Well fought. The only thing I would add is that sometimes you could even consider just keeping the bishop on h5. That bishop is basically an agent provocateur. You're provoking white to do something. So you don't want to voluntarily move your bishop away. You're here just to have a good time and wait for me to decide what to do. Let's say you go knight f6, castles, bishop e7, and eventually I will either have to move my queen or push the pawn. And in that case, then you will get that extra tempi. And you can do the same thing with extra momentum. So Fianchetto is not always great for the bishop. See the King's Indian, which actually I have material on that you might want to check out. But the point of these bishops is to guard the e4 pawn. And later on, as the game opens up, let's say here, f4, they gradually gain more
traction and power. Also, it provides shelter for your king. That's what I would do, and that's kind of the point of having that Fianchetto Bishop. Grand third. All right. Listen here. Good luck. Good luck. Listen here. Hey, listen here. You're next. You're next on lamb. Come on. You are next online. All right. Let's see. Let's give it a little bit more time. Let's give it a little bit more time. Oh, we've got to move. We've got to move. Awesome. C5. And we're going to go this way. Now, you can capture, which is critical in the Mora, but you can also give the pawn away. And guess what? Fianchetto incoming. Knight f6. That was a little bit early, unfortunately. But it's not that bad yet. There. Okay. Oh my god, I'm hallucinating. Starting to hallucinate. Knight c6. I'm going to go for that e5 pawn, trying to undermine it. Knight a3. Wow, my opponent has no regards for pawns. So heartless. So heartless. Okay. Sad to see. Want to see more love for those guys and pieces. Rook d1. Now I'll capture that pawn. The difference is that there are no knight b5 jumps. So I made sure that doesn't work anymore. Queen e5. My king is in the middle, so I should feel the danger, and I do feel that. Queen f6. Avoiding danger. That is the goal at the moment. Although I am very much behind. And that's not good. Knight f4. Being aggressive. Being aggressive, which is not a bad thing, by the way. In chess especially, being aggressive is good. Knight d6 check. Okay, and if I capture, I don't know. I go for intermediate moves and take some stuff. Hey, Gordelification. I take stuff. That's the last thing I'll do. I'll capture them all. Okay, Bishop e7. Note that even if you consolidate it or you're up a piece, you want your king in safety. Very important. Very, very important. That's one of those things that is forgotten but never forgiven. Because an extra piece does not necessarily mean you're winning. It just means that you'll get a decent position. There, let's go bishop g2. Trying to trap that king. Takes, rook takes. Takes. Okay. H5, that's not good. F5 here, here, and pawn mates are incoming. F5 check. G7, pawn mates are incoming, or rook e4, rook g4. There. I guess no pawn mate, sadly. But a mate is a mate. Nah. King can't run away. That's why you've got to be careful. Well fought, sir. If you would have been a little bit less aggressive at giving up pieces, you would have a marvelous position. Listen here. Ryuto Henje, good luck. GG. E3, okay. G7. G7. Bishop C4. D5. The problem with that, even though it hides, it's facing a wall of pawns. And I can just ignore everything now. Just gonna keep it closed, making sure that never really presses through. D5. Now I'm gonna play D4 because I feel that this king is sort of in the middle, being a little bit neglected. There. Okay, I'll take here and just activate my guys. Takes. There. Knight e4 check. B6. And in fact, takes. What's exciting in these type of positions is the following. There are many forms of scholar's mate with f6 and queen f2, but queen b6, queen f2 is also another one which is used on the higher levels. Let's take and pin. Notice that I use pins like constantly because they're just so effective, getting an advantage. Bishop f3, pinning, pressing, and other threats. Knight c3, hitting all of those guys, and this bishop making sure that everything's under control. I'm gonna take this guy. I'm gonna take this one because that was the knight that held the whole position together, and now it's collapsing. So what you needed to do, Henje, is to get your pawns in the center. Just to give you a better idea, let's say here, 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 c4, and you want your bishop behind those pawns. Let's say knight f6, bishop d3, castles, knight d2. And now it's much harder for me to get close to your bishop. Compare that to the game, it was easy for me to attack your bishop because you had your bishop outside the chain. Not that this bishop c4 move in general is terrible, but normally here in these type of positions, you want it behind those pawns. All right, now playing 5-7. 3+2, that's fine. D4. So you can do Fianchetto with E4, D4. In all of these systems, it's definitely a playable option. There, bishop g2. Notice that if you keep your knight back, it is way more powerful. In fact, there's no knight blocking the view. D takes would lose immediately to bishop takes b7. I have queen b3. And now you can see that you can combine the firepower of your queen and the bishop. Which makes it special. By the way, I am curious, what is your favorite anime? I will list a few of them, but if you don't see it on your list, do mention in the chat. and I will put and my own favorite. Haven't watched in years. B6. Now that's a good news. Whenever you see B6, you want to take on D5. Why? Because you want to create a target on that square. Yep, Dragon Ball, I forgot to mention that, of course. Dragon Ball is high up there. There, knight c3. And this is actually worse than if the bishop was on b7, because at least black could defend this pawn. Now black is struggling because of that. c6. Now I held this knight back just to put pressure there. But I am going to bring it in the game, and in fact I want to castle. It was just the timing. The timing that was different. I used this momentum to put pressure. That's done. We're going in a different direction. Okay, knight e5, immediately hitting on c6. And again, grandmaster play, you are still eyeing that f7 pawn. Psych, thank you for the follow. Oh, Mob 1000. Yes. Mob 9000 is great too. There. Let's pin it. I'm still a move away from castling. And if you're one move away from castling, you're doing just fine. You'd vote Bebop on if not Dragon Ball. Listen here. Oh, I feel ya. There, bishop e7. Okay. Let's castle. And I sort of expect things to happen on the d file. That's why I put my rook on d1. And probably if I can bolster my knight on e5, which is called the Pillsbury Knight, then my position will be nearly overwhelming because of the pressure and because I own the central squares. h6. Right. Okay. I think I'm going to capture. Note that this is more of a close position, not an open one. So here, keeping the knights just makes sense. h3. I will try to slowly grind on forward. And I just want to gain a little bit of space on the king side. What opening was this? This was basically a semi-Catalan. I wouldn't call it like the Catalan, but maybe the semi-Catalan just makes sense. No, it wasn't that. Now I can take on d5. And c5 actually drastically weakens the white squares, which is a problem. There, bishop e6. Knight f6, I have d5. Just start marching my pawns, and if it takes, I have de. Not to mention that once my knight lands on c6, there'll be problems. You also left ma g2. Are you referring to Madoka? Never watched Cowboy Bebop? You should try it out. It's very nice. Lots of references to movies that you might already know. Some spaghetti westerns. Now I am going to start running with the pawns. So I would definitely recommend Cowboy Bebop. It's very good. It's a fun one too. There. Okay. e5. If takes, I have knight e7 fork down. If takes, I can just take and just decimate the king side. Hey, the manager, how are you? Takes. And that's kind of the trick. There's always options in chess. Just like in life, you've got plenty of options to choose from. I'll go d6, so my pawn will be there and aggro if times are good and right. Queen c3 check, just bother the king. There. Okay. I want to activate my folks. Notice that those rooks queens are rather passive. So want to use this momentum to put pressure on f7. Queen h3, that actually loses too many pieces. There. Queen e7, and we are just promoting. Okay, takes. And pawn is just promoting over there. Look busy. Yeah, we'll try. 90 Fahrenheit. Where are you? That's insane. Where are you, man? 90. Oh my goodness. All right. So I think I'm going to play for more 15-20 minutes. And after that, I am going to give it a rest. Knight c6. Again, my bishop is good. Putting some pressure there. d6. There, I think I'm going to ask this bishop to kindly leave the premises. Oh, it doesn't. Okay, that's fine with me. Now I'm going to go castle. Listen here, thank you for subbing for with a tier 1 sub. Welcome. Welcome. Bishop g4. Just pressing. Probably I should start rolling with my guys over here as well. You're in the Netherlands. Yeah, that's a scorching heat. I thought you're in Arizona or something. Also, why did you say Fahrenheit? Why didn't you say Celsius? That surprises me. Hey Pizza Racer, how are you? My point is I'm going to eliminate this attacker sooner or later. And after that, my situation will be greatly improved. 29 Celsius in Stockholm? That's not that bad. That ain't that bad. Okay, Queen h4. All right. It's getting a bit tricky. There's a threat on me, guy. All right, let's eliminate that bishop. Good. I go e6. 92. Stick. e6. I just really have to get rid of those attackers. 40 degrees? Yeah, it's a lot. Hey, Mayor Paul. What's up? There. Which way should we go now? I go with knight h5. I'd be happy to eliminate this attacker, which is sort of annoying. You're melting? Don't melt. That's not a good thing. Not a good thing to do. Melting ain't for you. Joshan, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Balex, same. We'll also have to figure out if I want to give in that check or not. There's kind of a question that has to be answered. There, Queen h3. Now that's a move I wasn't that worried about. I'm gonna take on f5 and I want to look for some counterplay on this side of the board. Or d5. Yeah, I'm gonna go rook e8, get this rook in. Going for the attack. Ashworth, thank you for the bits. Whoa, thank you for gifting a sub to the community. J-Rod, welcome. Okay, bishop d2. Fine. Okay, well, can go back. I want to. Now I stick with d5 because I want to get rid of that knight. If I can. That would be good. That would be good news. g4, I'll drop back. Hey Peter, how are you? How are you, Peter? You're now an IM. Jit chess. Good job. Bishop h6. Okay, if I take knight there, queen there, knight e5. That's el bueno. Takes knight g4. I covered that square, and that's good. In any other case, I will have knight e5, which is importante. Okay. Queen g5. Lurking around the king. h5, that's defended. And I have knight f2, knight h3, winning the lady. Very well played. Well fought versado. Very good game. If you would have brought more pieces in the game, followed this channel a bit more, you would have brought in that rook to f1. And probably you would have very good attacking chances. But in each and every case, very well fought. All right, Jack. Oh, I thought that playing Jack. Goose, thank you for the follow. Oh, you're here, you're not here, you're here. You're not here? Okay. You're not here. Hello, Jack. Candle Jack? No, that's a thing, but I'm pretty sure you're not Candle Jack. Knight c3. And we're going for this way of playing. Takes knight f3. There, bishop g2. And now it's actually a nice bishop because it has some job on this file where it should have. There. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go h3. Strange. Hit d3. Just stop it. Stop any of those business things. Knight e5, knight d7. Knight e5 to point this queen h5 is a threat. Knight d7, I have threats here. Rook b7, I have threats on this knight and that rook. So you can see that bishop can become a monster. You can try again, Dosseldan. I didn't know where you were. Didn't get what you were doing. Knight a5, let's take that. Why did I take that? I shouldn't have. I should not have. Not that it's the end of the world or anything. Knight d7, let's retain that pony. And again, you can see that bishop still breaking barriers and wreaking havoc. There, rook e1. Get this rook over there. Okay. I see. Bishop c6. Just eyeing that rook. Okay, it's a d pawn, but the a pawn will be even better, especially as I protect that most important a8 square. Okay, a5, d4. Just protect what you get as an extra. It's important. Okay, a4. There, c4. I'm trying to kick out that bishop if I can. And if I can, I will. If I can, I definitely will. What? Oh my goodness. Blindness. Blindness is in the air. Oh man. Blind. Just blind. F4. D6. Take. Bishop D5. Man goes for this exchange. So rude. So rude. C6. Yeah, I messed this up gloriously. Gloriously messed it up. D5. Okay. D4. There. Okay. G3. Bishop B3. Let's go F5. 4. B5. Three, 2, 2. What am I doing? What am I doing? Also, why King F4? Why not King F3? Why not King F3? Don't even understand. Don't even understand. E6 takes here. Bishop B5. There. Okay. Takes here. 6, King E5 here. Oh, I can take, check, check, e6, bishop b5, b6, and we win. We win somehow. d5 wasn't hanging. Wasn't hanging. All right. You definitely deserve the replay. See, you get the same color. You get the same color. All right. I'm gonna go good old King's Indian style, as I would normally do. Over here. e6, bishop g7, c5. Now, bishop f4 is a move that you can play occasionally, but it's something that I wouldn't do. And I'll tell you why. Because if you play e4 or fianchetto systems with d4, c4, you get way more richer positions. Not that there's anything wrong with this one. It's just, you know, you could get a bit more of a variety. Now, I know that's kind of a topic of conversation. Some are madly in love with it. As someone who likes exciting play, I'm against it. I think you can play the London. Obviously, it is playable. But I wouldn't play it like every game. GG's, Unknown Master. You did give a run for my money. Queen d2. Alright. But can I go a5? I can't. Knight e4. I'm trying to use the fact and find a way to stop white from castling. Bishop e2 castles didn't happen just yet. Agokon, here's the link. Or, oh, it's up there, so it's in probably it's in mode there. Let's go a5. I want to go for a4. Just open it up. Probably it's on a cooldown. But here's the link. I think it's this one. Notice white only struggles because of that weakness in the position and the fact that the king is stuck in the middle. And that only happens because I have most of my guys lurking around. Thank you for the follow, Agokon. Knight d2, but that does give me that pawn. And now I'm inching ever so closer to that king. 6. Notice how the bishop and the queen works together. Very, very pleasant position. It's very, very pleasant. Bishop d2, bishop f3, gf. Maybe I shouldn't have taken, because I gave up that very good bishop. In fact, that probably wasn't a great idea. So I have to go back and be a little bit more defensive. There, bishop g7, and you can see I'm up a pawn, but I'm still gonna scurry and castle. There, queen c7, e5. Again, the king is in the middle. You want to open it up. I've seen people sweat playing chess. Listen here. So that's not a novelty. Personally, I don't think I sweat while playing chess. There, I'll take HG. I don't want to take F because the bishop would be kind of sniping my king, and I wouldn't want that. Hey, Master John. Okay, let's take it. There, I can take. And queen e5 check is nasty because not only will that king have to find a safe way, it has actually have to run over there to defend that rook. Yep. Knight b4, hitting that bishop and that rook over there, which is kind of nasty over. Because now there's these guys just far away. Like the queen is not where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be on f3 by now so it could hold it all together. But unfortunately, I don't think that's gonna happen. When you play in a tournament, there's always an AC. Yep. ACs are good. They help lives. Stuff like that. And there are plenty of threats, and I have a subtle threat of invading that b2 square. Rook takes. You always have to look around if there's a better move than just capturing. Is there a better move than capturing? No, I think capturing is good. Capturing is just decente. Very much decente. Very much on the decent side of things. Queen b3. Okay. Queen f4 check. I'm just trying to take away squares from a rook. And then I probably will play rook d8 just to have a finish up attack over there. Queen g4, hitting there. If the king moves back, I can go here, attack, and there's no rook h3 anymore. My queen is defending that square. There, and now I can go backwards, and it is checkmate. Yep. All right, guys. Been a long stream. I really hope you all enjoyed your time over here. Appreciate all the raids that we've got. Definitely check us out on Discord if you are interested. And now we are going for a raid. Zeke Sucks, thank you so much for the follow. We had somewhat of a rocky tournament, but we actually managed through it. That was good. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned a bit about Fianchetto play. And if you did, I feel I accomplished something. So, with that, I am going to pass on the baton. Wish you a good day or night, wherever you are. Bye-bye. Take care all.